What's up? I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is the Bourbon and Business Podcast,
where we interview successful businessmen and women to let you in on why success doesn't have a single formula to follow.
We also have a little bourbon tasting along the way because why not?
Why not?
So guys, please enjoy this episode and let us know your thoughts at Bourbon and Business Podcast on Instagram.
Coming to you from the Bourbon and Business Studio here at the AC Hotel in Ridgeland, Mississippi. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is the Bourbon and Business Podcast. How you doing this morning, Dakota?
I'm great, Tyler. How are you?
I mean, I'm great. Now all the listeners are going to think their screen was buffering for a minute.
Yeah, you have to pause for dramatic effect. Everybody knows that.
Okay, Mark Scott.
Amateur.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to get YouTube down here to film this.
Well, you want to introduce our guest to us?
Yeah, today we have special guest Christian Huber, 7th generation winemaker and distiller of Starlight Distillery. Christian, welcome.
Well, guys, thanks for having me this early Saturday morning. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you. I mean, you should know as well as anyone, there's never too early of a time.
I agree.
To taste some bourbon.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Now, if you're heavy drinking at 8 a.m., that might be a different conversation. But, just a couple of tastings, we're good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, as a farmer, I'm up early anyway, so it really don't matter. I mean, we got we got 850 acres to take care of, so we're up early.
Yeah, you got to be up early for that.
Yeah, that's almost the size of Tyler's house.
Yeah. Well, what are we sipping on this morning, Dakota?
We're sipping on Bernheim Original. This is a small batch Kentucky straight whiskey. What's your thoughts? It's got a great color too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are going to be people that love it.
I'm usually a fan of small batch.
I don't know, because I don't know that I've had a lot of the wheat whiskey. So it's hard for me to give a true rating on it because I don't know that I've had a lot of it. I do not like it though. If I'm being 100% honest with you, it's just not my taste. Like I said, there's going to be somebody out there that loves this taste. I mean, it's like any bourbon or wine that you're drinking out there. Everybody's taste is different. For me though, it's gonna be a no-go for me. But I think that it does still have a smooth taste to it. It's got a good burn. Proof wise, what's it, like 100 proof? 90 proof. So it's got more of a burn than I would expect for a 90 proof. But I'm gonna give it a 6.8.
Wow,
So,
there was that pause for dramatic effect that we were talking about.
yeah. So we're on land.
I thought you were buffering for a second.
my brain was buffering. So
if I told you it had been aged 7 years, like the bottle says, did that change your opinion?
I noticed the 7 years there. It didn't change it anymore.
Okay, well,
So
I figured I'd give it a shot.
But I think has more to do that.
You just don't
Yeah, I just don't like the taste. So, well, Christian, we appreciate you coming on today. We like to always start this. Just give our listeners your background, where you're from, and then how you got to become the distiller at Starlight Distillery.
So guys, for those who are listening, my name's Christian Huber. I'm the seventh generation family member. So we've been around for 184 years this year as a company. So it's been passed down from generation to generation on to myself and my brother when it comes down to the beverage alcohol. So for my background, I'm a viticulture and a enology major up in Niagara College up in Canada. So viticulture, study of grape growing, enology, study of winemaking. I was at 21 at the time, so I moved to southern Italy. I worked for a winery in Apulia, which is the heel of the boot in Italy, a little town called Lecce, where I worked for the Catena Paleo family. I got a small job with a very tiny company called Louis Vuitton Moët Hennessy. They moved me, LVMH moved me out to Napa Valley, California, where I worked for Domaine Chandon under Pauline LaHope.
I think I've heard of them before.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe I read it in an article or something.
I just tell you what, he's one of my favorite investors to watch. But it was one of those things where I really wanted to study within kind of branding and marketing and beverage alcohol. Pauline got me introduced to Bruce and Dennis Cake Bread. So I jumped over to the Cake Bread family. Really got to study a lot of awesome winemaking techniques from Cake Breads, but a lot of succession planning. I got to watch them kind of play out in their family business. Went back home, finished my last semester at the university, went back out to California where I worked for Bill Phelps under Joseph Phelps Vineyards. again, another family owned business where I really got to study a lot what they were doing within their business and kind of how they're able to pass the torch, so to speak. At that point, I decided that I was going to move home and they were family. My father wanted us as a minimum to be away for about 8 years, 4 years university, and about 4 years for practical work study before turning back to the family business. So after I completed that, I decided that it was my time to come back home and take the torch on from my father. My brother, Blake, very similar, Cornell University, upstate New York, did viticulture and enology just like I did, and then moved out to California. He was the first ever American intern to be kind of underneath Christian Moex, most famously known for Petrus, but he was under the Dominus label. But yeah, he was the first ever American intern under them. And then he traveled back home a few years after I did. So now it's just me, my brother, and my father under the what we call the BA company or the beverage alcohol company.
Well, talk to us a little bit about because obviously this business has been in y'all's family for a long
Yeah.
time, which is speaks volumes, I think, to how your family's been able to operate throughout the years. Because most of the time we see, especially, I mean, in the
Mhm.
U.S., these family businesses, even if they're at one point massive, they seem 3 to 4 generations later the business is no more. It's sold off.
Yep.
The kids kind of lose interest in what the family was doing. How has your family been able to keep this in the family for so long?
I will tell you one thing, and this is something that a lot of people, it doesn't matter if you're reading books on succession planning, family business, something that they really don't talk about a lot, which is just our family's cutthroat. I mean, just in our generation, there's 12 others that did not come back to the family business. Me, my brother, and my three cousins, the five of us, were the ones who chose to come back. But at the end of the day, we have very strict rules and procedures that we really go upon picking the right individuals to come and rep the family brand. At the end of the day, I would say all of us in the generation were really highly educated, but in the end of the day, I mean, you're gonna work harder, you're gonna work longer than anybody's gonna ever ask you to as a family member, because people watch. I mean, we have over 200 employees that are under our belt. And every single one of them looks up to you for motivation. They look up to you for guidance. And that's in the day, you want to make sure that the family values and the family is represented in the best way possible in the marketplace. So at the end of the day, I would say our family has strived on authenticity, creativeness, but also just getting down and working hard, not trying to be anything that we're not. I would say that our family is very good at not going after the red herrings in the world. I mean, nowadays, now more than ever, there's a million different trends that businesses can follow, but does it fit your, I would say, ethos? Does it fit your authenticity of your brand values without going down the rabbit hole, so to speak?
Christian, I think you touched on something really great here. Talking about and piggybacking off of Tyler's question there about how you guys kept it in the family. And like you said, like it's not all in the family, right? It's like a strict sect of the family members who have the dedication and the drive to actually, take this on and make it something worthwhile and aren't just at it
Yeah.
for the money or for an easy job or anything like that. Because, when I was growing up, I would see people basically handed family businesses sometimes, and I'd be like, man, they're gonna run that into the ground because I know that kid. You know what I mean? I know their work ethic. I grew up with them or whatever. And a lot of times as I've aged, I've realized that it's actually a lot harder when you inherit a family business because, when your parents built it, it's hard in a different way. It's hard to make money. It's hard to, build the brand, build the reputation, all that kind of stuff. But then inheriting a family business, it's hard to keep it. It's hard to prove yourself to people who think, oh, there's another Nepo baby, who's just getting everything because their parents worked hard. And that's not a case for a lot of these family businesses. I mean, like I said, the family members oftentimes have to work twice, 3, 4 times as hard as the average employee just to prove themselves that,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm not here just for a paycheck. I'm here because I actually care about this brand. I care about this business." Can you speak on that a little bit about what that's been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's like a onion to peel back the layers, I will say. It is something that it's very multifaceted. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I have friends that are in family businesses that, are struggling with that very root. I would say more than ever, having a genuine passion for your family business is rare, right? But having the like I said, me and my brother, we love what we do. We wake up every single day, and we knew we wanted to be in the viticulture enology kind of background of it, and we knew what we wanted as a pathway, and it fit where our
Mm.
values were as a family business. So it was kind of like stars aligning with me particularly. But I will say, when you're coming back to a family business and and you truly don't understand the ethos of your business, your employees can tell. I really do think they have been here longer than you have. They actually got to watch you grow up, so to speak. I have some employees that started before I was born and they're still here today.
Mm.
And so they can see where you came from and they know the brand values, the brand voice, if it doesn't match from generation to generation. And a lot of times, I don't know if this is in like I said, in every business, but in the alcohol business, they try to change it in a way that it was never supposed to go in that direction. Family businesses are a lot of times a lot harder to turn the ship, so to speak, than a startup, right? So whenever you've been doing something for generations, like the Heaven Hill family from the Bernheim wheat in front of you, when they've been doing it for generations, it's hard for them to spin into something brand new that's totally off value. Same thing with us. For 7 generations, our community, our town, and the family members, and I say family as our employees, our families that we've had working for us for generations as well. We just can't turn on a dime and go a different direction. And I think that's where a lot of next generation people they try to disrupt, they try to go into family business too quickly, turn it in a different direction. And it's that whiplash effect. Not saying that's successful or not, but that's kind of a lot of times where you have that friction rub whenever people are coming back.
What's it like earning the respect of those employees who literally remember when you were born?
Well, I'll tell you something. My dad was he was smart. I started off as, for those, if you guys look into us, for those who are listening, like, we're very multifaceted. We're just on a winery distillery. We see roughly 750,000 people to our destination a year. We're the second most visited bourbon stop off the trail. So Maker's Mark, or excuse me, Buffalo Trace is one. We're two. Maker's Mark is three when it comes to visitation. As a winery, we're one of the largest Midwest destination, period, and one of the largest in the United States. We are a winery, distillery, farm market, ice cream shop, event hall, family park. It's a very multifaceted. So it's how do I put this? It's we catered for a lot of different things and a lot of different people. But my dad started off us as basically busboys. 10 years old, we got our first paycheck. We were busboys, then we are Pizza Kitchen. After Pizza Kitchen, then we went into stock boys for the winery. So stocking, bottles of wine. When I watched the grain distillery start off with, I was cleaning tanks. I was inside the fermenters with the only reason they put us in there is my dad and our, head winemaker, master distiller, Jason, they didn't wanna climb in the tanks 'cause it was hard to get into the manhole or manway. So they would send me and my brother in there with literally a scrub brush and, our caustic and citric and said, "Go at it." But I think by us starting at such a young age and watching us kinda grow and develop through different parts of the business garnish more of that respect. There was times in summers in high school where me and Blake are out in the vineyards, we're pruning, we're harvesting, we're up and no joke, we're up early, we're the last ones to leave. And that wasn't because, me and Blake didn't want to go hang out with our friends. You know, Even though we didn't know it, dad was starting to press into like these boys are going to work hard and they're going to be able to take this business from X and get it to Y. And hopefully my kids, I don't have kids currently, but hopefully my kids can go from Y to Z. It's one of those things where earning respect starts when you're small. And for those who are
Mm.
listening who have families and next generations that are older coming back, doesn't mean you can't start, but don't let them start on
Mm.
a C-suite board. Don't let them start in this, I would say, upper middle management. Earn their stripes, get them through the ranks, and really earning real respect rather than just earn gratification.
It weeds out the false people too, right? The people who, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna work hard, mom or dad. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put in the time and effort. Well, prove it.
yeah.
You know, you can't just say it. You got to put your money where your mouth
When
is.
I was listening to your last podcast too, the other thing within my generation is being able to adapt new technologies. In the background of this, I'm running Claude Pro, right? And being able to like take what your parents have done and be able to get it to the next generation. like I mentioned, not changing it drastically super quickly, but being able to adapt new technologies to streamline your workflows, work businesses. And that's what I've been doing as a next gen for the last few years is how do I adapt unique technologies where I don't necessarily have to have 5 direct reports under me. I can have, things running in the background for me to better my workflow, better my output, and, bottom line, better results of the, back end of it. So I think
I'm trying to do the same thing with Tyler right now, but I can't get the accent right for my AI model to work, so I don't know that I'll ever be able to do
I
that.
love it.
Just kidding, Tyler.
Well, let's talk a little bit about
Yeah.
Starlight. So tell our listeners or give them a rundown on what all Starlight offers and, what they would expect if they came out there to tour the distillery.
Yeah, so like I said, it's a very multifaceted destination, but Starlight Distillery specifically was founded in 2001. We're actually having our 25th anniversary coming up here August 1st. So we're releasing a 20-year-old brandy that we distilled in '05, and then a 10-year-old single barrel bourbon that we distilled back in 2016. So we got two of them coming out. But the thing with Starlight Distillery is my dad kind of revamped the distillery coming out of, I would say, a prohibitionary time set and got it back going in 2001 with really one big philosophy, which was farm to glass, dram to glass. I mean, he wanted to showcase the farm. So the distillery was named after our town that we're in of Starlight, Indiana. So my dad named it after the farmers inside the town because it's just not our family growing anymore. I mean, it's the entire community that helped us out. It's more like a cooperative distilling rather than just our family trying to do it all. Yeah, we have the stills and the fermenters, but we have our own, ground that we grow our corn, rye, and wheat, but there's a lot of other ones in the community that are growing for us nowadays, and it's that camaraderie that we really get. But the thing with Starlight is, I would say we're very fruit-driven whiskeys, so if your guys are more of that Four Roses single barrel, that more, I would say, old school wild turkey, like that cherry kinda ness to it, that's kind of our styles of whiskeys. We're high rye typically. It's funny that you picked a wheat. I do wheat, as well. We do ryes. We do a lot of unique finishes. Last year, we won Best Bourbon in the World in San Francisco, number one over top. Beat out a lot of the
Wow.
Buffalo Trace, Sazerac, and Heaven Hill and Diageo brands. And so for a craft distillery, that was a big honor for us to take a number one and best in show. But hopefully, we can follow back this year with some good awards out there. I know that's coming up in November. That award was for our bourbon whiskey that was 8 years old, finished in Japanese Mizunara, so Japanese oak, and
Ooh.
it was super really well done. But we have products for everybody. We have 2 flavored whiskeys, blackberry and peach, and they're made from fruit actually grown here on the farm. We're starting with fruit grown here on the farm, so our blackberries that you can go out there and you pick. So you can go out to the fields, pick the blackberries, go in there and actually taste the blackberry whiskey or the peach whiskey because we have peaches here on site too. But it's one of those things where everything we do has a purpose and has a kind of a downstream effect. So for us picking peaches, for our farmers market, we're also turning that into peach wine, peach brandy, and peach whiskey. So it's just multifaceted things for everybody.
Tyler loves peaches, so
I do, I
you might
do,
wanna try that.
I do love a good peach. Hard to find them now. Y'all getting them off the farm,
Yeah.
so they taste a little bit different. You get them from the grocery store there.
And
They'll
yeah,
let you down every time.
there's a strawberry field not near here or near here, not far away from here, and, man, we went and picked some strawberries a couple months back, and it was night and day. They were fantastic. They kept longer. It was amazing. I was like, "I gotta come back and do this." And it was fun experience too.
Most bourbon companies were are ag families originally. Like they're farmers, right? At the end of the day. And something that's really coming back in the trend is farm hospitality. You see it everywhere on Forbes to, the squawk, right? It's one of those things where real, true, like, luxury hospitality is kind of changing. These little farm boutiques are really starting to pop up. And our tourism, even in the bourbon downturn, is still trending up. So I think people are wanting, that experience to get out of the city, get somewhere where they can take their family, their kids. Right now, we're having you pick your own flowers, right? So you can get out there, get out of the city, and like you said, not go to the grocery store, but be able to pick your own produce and have that more grassroots kind of experience, right? And that's what we're seeing even in this crazy dynamic that American wine, American whiskey, and American spirits are in. We know we're seeing people come out in more and more and more droves, and we're seeing people sit out here enjoying sangria, enjoying a cocktail, listen to live music more than ever. So knock on wood.
Gosh, that sounds amazing. That sounds like a great Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, just like you said, I think you have seen a drive of people, especially because now our work is so much indoors on computers. A lot of
Sitting
Americans, I mean,
down.
you're sitting at a desk all day long. So to be able to get back out into nature and connect with, what life, this was what life was for most Americans,
Mhm.
not long ago.
Yeah.
And I think it does something for the soul to be able to get out and just say, hey, disconnect from my day to day stuff and be able to go to something like y'all offer and be able to reconnect there.
And we have a thing with our employees in our hospitality side of things, and it's called, you know, when I did the presentation to our staff, which was, we are highly connected as a society more than ever. Our phones are not more than a hand's reach away typically. But being able to disconnect from an online, false connection and actually connect with people in a genuine way is getting harder and harder to do. That's why our
Yeah.
hospitality staff, the moment you walk in the door, you're making a genuine connection conversation rather than just letting people wander around the store, aimlessly be on the phone. We're trying to create places where you and your friends, your spouses, your families can come up and just connect in a way that, traditionally nowadays you don't find really anymore. And so I think people are latching on to that. And I think that trend you can see continue from 2026 into 27. And I think the businesses that can adapt to those kind of experiences and those I think people will really jive with them and latch on.
Well,
100%.
I wanted to touch on one thing, obviously, when you were talking about earlier, kind of your family had a plan, they had a standard in place for, hey, if you're going to work here, this is the standard, this is what it takes to work in the family business. Obviously, that standard trickles down to the employees that are working there as well. How are y'all able to set a standard and then hold your 200 people that are working under you to that standard on a daily basis?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, and that's
Oh, we talked about this. I'm working on it, okay? He's asking for me. I was late one
yeah.
time, and then it's just been this whole ordeal.
I know, and I'll tell you, it swings drastically. Right now, we're what we're calling going into peak season. So we're sitting at full capacity. Our seasonal work kind of varies almost by 75 people. So we have 75 new faces that will come in here basically May 1st, work till December. And then as an ag company, we go into the slow months, right? So how do you get these people trained to rep the hospitality and continue to rep the hospitality in that short notice, in and out? And that comes down to a lot of engagement and culture. I think a real big kind of miss that people, say but never actually do is culture. They say, "Oh, we work on this kind of culture," right? And yet they go out there and they act a completely different way. The culture around Starlight and the culture around Hubers as a brand. I mean, we're working on it. It's dynamic. I mean, we have, people who are shining stars and people who are getting up there, but it's being able to not just have the family rep that culture, but have everybody from your, literal like nighttime, third shift distillers go all the way through your, C suites, right? It just doesn't keep an office. And once you go to the retail, it stops. And I think really watching and having those constant, we have morning huddles, right? Every single morning, our directors and our managers read out what's going on, full property. They touch on hospitality things that we're working on, things that you see, Google reviews or trends that we're seeing in hospitality. Hey, let's try this. One of the big ones that we're implementing right now is instead of saying, "Is this your first time being here?" we say, "Welcome back" to everybody. And they'll be like, "Oh, no, this is our first time here," because you make that connection. You get the data that you're already looking for and just little hospitality switches that we're kind of working on tailor making. But really it comes down to just having a good culture and making sure that if someone's not right fit for your culture, getting them out quickly is a challenge in a lot of sense because you just don't want to let someone go because they don't work the culture. But it's super important that you find people that fit your model, your ethos, your voice before, taking on too many of these part-time employees that will just kind of change or we always say it like spreads like cancer, right? One or two people that are on their phone or not going to a certain end goal that we're looking for, they can take a whole team down very quickly. And so it's
Mhm.
finding those right people, nurturing them. And at the end of the day, if that person isn't going to adapt to the culture you're going to, that the rest of the team wants to get to, That's whenever you need to get those individuals out of that seat on the bus, get someone right on that bus seat. And who knows, that bus seat could be, you can move that person to a different seat, but that's kind of what we look at.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's a good thing for our business owners that are listening to hear, I can't remember who said it, but,
It's
a
probably
while
me.
back, how we do anything is how we do everything. And,
That's something I would say.
I am a big believer in that, like you were talking about, your dad started you off as
Yep.
busboys. Well, that's a very important job because guess what? If the busboys are not doing a good job, then you have customers coming in and they got dirty tables,
Yep.
dishes everywhere, and that leaves a bad impression.
I'm with
Probably more so than what's going on in the C-suite. They're not seeing that. They're seeing what those tables look like.
Mhm.
And so,
you know,
like you said, even if we think that it's, a small or not important job, it is very important, especially to the customer experience.
yeah. And I'll tell you what, this is a quick story. Me and my brother were actually in semi-state. October's our busiest time, but for us, semi-state was coming up. We came in our actual our actual uniforms, and we were cleaning tables because we had two busboys call out before our actual semi-state game, and then we actually rode to semi-state in our uniforms, but we were bussing tables. Doesn't matter what it is. I mean, at the end of the day,
Right.
Dad let us have our fun, be able to get in team sports and stuff like that. But we knew what came first, and that's the family
Yeah.
business. And I think a lot of people, like you said, they watch that and they keep those stories. And the only reason I bring that up is one of our employees told me that story not too long ago. I completely forgot it had happened.
That's awesome, though, and the fact that your employees remember that is testament to how important those little actions are, especially by the people who are going to own the business or do own the business one day.
You have a lot of mentors that are in family businesses that are doing really well. One of the biggest things that one of them told me that I never thought about this until he brought it up. He goes, always ask a business owner who his oldest employee is. And it's something less than 5 years. That's not a good culture. If you have people hanging
Mhm.
around for 10, 20, 30 plus years, you built an ecosystem that people want to build multi-generational with you. And that's something that really I didn't stick with that long. I'm full transparency, I'm 30 years old, right? But he had asked me that question. I'm like, that's a really good point that I never thought about. If you can train, retain, and have people go out and build your life stories through their life, like that's the ultimate honor that you can ever have is people dedicating their entire work career to your family business. And so I really it stuck with me.
Yep. No, it's a good
Awesome.
word.
That's a great word.
Well, I think it's a good time for a Waze Energy bourbon break,
Yeah.
and
100%.
we appreciate our sponsor, Waze Energy.
Bernheim original, small batch. I'm a fan of small batches. I think they're I don't know, man, there's just like a uniqueness to them. That's like it's just a little more flavor there for me. There's a little more I took a wine tour in France and they said to never do this, but there's a little more depth to it.
He goes to France one time. He's an expert
Yeah.
now.
We did a wine tasting. I
I love
I
it.
mean, I'm basically a sommelier now.
Yeah,
I mean, do you even know how to pronounce croissant? Because it's not croissant.
barely.
It's ridiculous. Tyler sends me a voice message while I'm in France, and he's like, "Well, bonjour." So I thought it was light, right on the nose, and if that flavor had stayed, it'd have been great. But it didn't. It lingered for just a second, and then it fell off, and it was almost a bitter taste that came on my tongue and stayed in the back of my mouth, which I did not appreciate. Great smell, good vibes on it. You familiar with the vibe language?
I don't even know what you're saying right
Okay,
now,
so
but
it's got
we'll
good
go.
vibes, but that's about it for me. You were at a 6.8. I'm not gonna be much different. I'm at a 7.0.
7.0.
It was a great start. It just didn't finish.
Yep. And we want to also give a shout out to our sponsor, Cheers Vineyard in Gluckstadt. If you want a bottle of this, go pick it up. They've got a great selection of bourbons,
Whiskeys, vodkas,
vodkas,
wines. They have a ton of wine.
anything you can think of. They've pretty much got it there.
They've
Great
got
selection.
mixers and stuff for you too. They've got all kinds of stuff if you want it. And also want to give a shout out to AC Hotels. Thank you for your space here. If you were looking for an event space, if you're looking for an event, if you're looking for a mahjong group, they've got it all. Come check it out.
All right, Christian. As we round home here, tell our listeners, say they're listening to
Tell us your
this,
secret sauce.
and
Tell us the
yeah,
recipe.
and they're listening and they say, hey, I'm planning to come up that direction, do the bourbon tour. What is the best way for them to find y'all and get your information to get that set up?
Yeah. So real quick, for those who are traveling to Louisville, we're 20 minutes outside of downtown Louisville, Kentucky. So most of the hotels, we're just 20 minutes away. You can Uber up to us. But find us on starlightdistillery.com or Starlight Distillery on Facebook and Instagram. We also can, I don't know about Mississippi because I know it's an actual control state, and Alabama. They're kind of tough. But those who are listening outside those states, we also ship our product to 42 states. So you can get our product direct to your doorstep too. So it depends on where you want to go. I'd say for the hot summers, we do that blackberry whiskey lemonade cocktail. Just get a little bottle of blackberry whiskey and just some homemade lemonade and sit on the back porch, watch the fire, and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Well, great.
You're
Yeah.
talking my language, Christian.
Mississippi, we just recently ended prohibition here. So
That's true, isn't it?
I think officially it is.
Yeah.
Officially it's true.
Yeah.
But anyways.
It's not a law anymore. Insanity.
Well, Christian, we appreciate you coming on. We're going to land at a
You can do this.
6.9
Yes.
for our whiskey here today. And to all our listeners, have you stream this podcast, if you would give us a rating, and if you would follow us on social media, we will see you next week.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
If you have any feedback or would like to be featured, reach out to us at bourbonandbusinesspodcast@gmail.com.
Or find us on Instagram at Bourbon and Business Podcast.
Thanks again for listening.
Follow us for more content and info on the next episode.